Who?
Whether he's been somewhere, what kind of people he's been around. In the meantime, you got all the new locks installed, and he can't get in.
Who?
Some guy named Jack Townsend. I don't know.
What's it?
Anyway.
What's he doing?
He's trying to break into their potting sheds.
Whose potting shed?
Joe's.
Joe who?
Joe, the neighbor at the end of the street.
Joe Backus?
No, the other end of the street. Anyway, it told him to take and have a new locks put on. And go to this company that'll make them all new locks. And put on there, and they give them keys. But they won't give them enough for Joe.
Why not?
Not Joe, but the guy that's stealing from them.
Well, they wouldn't give him a key.
No, they give him a bad key. And so they give him his old key.
But if they know who's stealing from him, why don't they get him arrested?
They got no proof.
You said they'd give the guy who was stealing a bad key.
Throw him off down the hillside. Because it's hard to get. It's like that hole down there where they're digging that big hole down there where
Country Club Road?
Country Club Road ends. It's deeper than that. And throw him down in there.
Throw who?
The guy they don't trust, the Bob Wilson Smith guy, or whatever his name is. And he won't be able to call out because his cell phone's bad and his key won't work.
Well,
So
there's nothing in the hole anyhow.
yeah, but if it starts raining, there's all kind of plastic and boards and junk down there, so they throw down there, and we figure he can get something that, get a big bag with water or air in it, and float up it as it fills up. It might take 3 or 4 or 5 days, but we don't think that we can be finished what we're doing by then.
What are y'all doing?
I done told you they're picking potatoes on the orchard out there. They're picking potatoes. They're picking Irish potatoes, and they got sweet potatoes. They got new potatoes and red potatoes. They got some kind of potato I ain't ever seen that are knobby all over. And I ain't seen no bunch of my tomatoes like that. But they got them growing all together. And then they had a potato patch for some holiday for the Irish that came over here to grow potatoes. It's the craziest thing I ever seen.
Where was this?
Somewhere in Idaho. Oh, and they even had Idaho potatoes.
Oh.
But
so what were they gonna? So the guy that's in the hole, what does he have to do with the potatoes?
I don't know, but he woke up hugging up against me this morning. I ain't having none of that stuff, and I told him I wasn't.
He was sleeping with you?
Yeah, he had this orange furry coat on, and I shoved him away, and he came right back and he licked on me. I'm gonna get a gun. I'm gonna knock him upside the head if I catch him there again.
I think I would too.
But what was your question?
Well, what did he have to do with the potatoes?
I don't know. I think he just goes to them tents and sleeps around with people. He was bothering my worker, Steve. Last week, and told him, he thought, well, I'm in the wrong tent. Sorry.
What did Steve do?
He had his head shaved that week.
Oh.
He threw him out in those Irish potatoes.
Steve did?
And he ain't even Irish. and if some people had seen him, they'd have been upset.
Which people?
The ones that grow the Irish potatoes.
Oh, they'd have been upset with Steve or with the other guy?
Either one. I wasn't there. I don't know which ones. Anyway, every night they build a big fire.
Yeah.
And they take the potatoes and wrap them in foil.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that don't have any, they wrap it in grape leaves. There's an orchard right there with them.
Yeah.
They plant them along with the orchard. They plant the potatoes in there with them. They're hoping they can raise some grape potatoes. They hadn't had any luck yet.
That's kind of an odd.
But just wait till the bees get there. But we're hiring some bees to come in that can pollinate them things. Big old bees.
How much you got to pay for them?
I think they're about $100 a piece.
Good grief! Who's got that kind of money?
Well, we got a co-op, and it's gonna cost us about $15,000 to bring that many bees in.
To make grape potatoes.
Uh-huh.
Do y'all think people will buy grape potatoes?
You've seen how they buy these grape tomatoes for salads?
Yes.
Well, maybe they'll buy those grape tomatoes for like potato salad instead of having to cut the potatoes up, save you all kind of time.
Well, isn't that kind of like new potatoes?
No, they're grape potatoes.
Oh.
These come in a little cluster. And they got a kind of a juicy taste to them, like grape.
Well, that sounds gross.
Once you try it, put a little lime juice on there and some what's that stuff? Worcestershire sauce.
On potatoes.
It's really good. It's not a potato now. Remember, it's a grape tomato. Oh, and a lot of salt. You roll them in it and all that stuff. You crust them in salt, and you dip them in hot oil, and they are good.
Yeah, how do you think you'll get a good return on your investment?
Well, we got 3 little plants growing right now.
Just 3 plants with $15,000 worth of bees?
And Steve Roberts, he tried to step on one of them, and I accused him. I said, "You don't know nothing about growing no potatoes. You need to just go on up there and help cook the food that the women's are making. Make you a sandwich and bring it to me. just like a woman would. That's your job. Your only job. Don't come back down here trampling my potatoes." So we have to guard those 3 plants. Wait a minute, let me look. Now there's one more has sprouted.
Oh.
So I got to take care of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give Steve Roberts one more chance. I'm gonna let him come down here when he brings my sandwich, and I'm gonna sit with that. He's holding on around that tomato plant, and if he falls asleep and falls on it, or if he crushes it with his legs, I don't know what I'll do to him. But I bet Herman will hurt him.
Who's Herman?
Herman's my partner in this. You've met Herman.
I have?
Yes, at night we had the gala for the camel racing riders.
I must have missed that.
You know, there's 2 to a team. They sit on each hump, and they both ride them. They got 2 sets of ropes that they guide them with. And
how did I miss that?
It was on the back lot. It was late at night.
Okay.
I think you were making some sandwiches or something for all the workers.
Well, that's women's work, right?
You bet it is. Y'all need to stay in the kitchen and leave us alone so we get some stuff done.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had them late at night, and so I couldn't see the bet on them. I couldn't see I knew I had a bunch of 20s in my wallet, but I couldn't see what I'd take it out to bet on them.
The camels?
Yeah. And I go to they didn't have betting windows, so they just had little rocks piled up, a slot in them, and you couldn't see the jockey, not the jockeys, but what do you call them? The
camel riders?
No, the ones that take your money.
Oh, the bookies?
Yeah, bookies. And you give me, and I finally couldn't see, and I gave everything to him, and I told him I wanted them on Irish Rose, everything I had in my wallet.
Yeah.
And Irish Rose was 50 to 1.
All right.
And so he counted it for me, and he said I had $418 in there. I said, well, put it on Irish Rose. Well, I said, put half of it on Irish Rose, and there's a new horse. His name was, what was his name? Red Concord.
Okay.
That's kind of a silly name. I said, put the other half on him.
Yeah. And who won?
He was a big old stallion. He was a pretty horse. He's jet black.
I thought y'all were racing camels.
Well, they couldn't everybody have camels, so they let me have a horse since I was the owner of the racetrack.
Okay.
/ vineyard. So they let me bring a horse in. But now the other one was a camel. We tried to breed it with a horse, but it didn't work. So he was a camel.
Okay.
And so...
Who won?
I'm getting to that. Hold on. So we got up there in the seats watching it, and you never brought me my sandwich. You brought my Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
But you never come back with my sandwich. You got 2 hands. Any woman can bring 2 sandwiches back, or a drink and a sandwich. It's the way you're made. Anyway, I got up there with Bill, with Bill's nephew. I don't know if you ever met Charlie.
I don't think so.
Bill's nephew, Charlie. His name is Charlie Xavier.
I didn't know. Go ahead.
Right, something. And he was with us, and he bet on the dumbest camel you'd ever seen. He had one little bitty hump and one big hump. And he had the floppiest looking ears, and he just...
But did he win?
He got up there, and his jockey looked like he could have played Goober Pyle on Andy Griffith if he'd been a camel. And he betted on his own camel to lose.
Okay.
And he got to come in there, had to lead that camel, and it was like that camel was drunk. He was snarling and spitting, and I don't know if camels normally fall down, but this one fell down. Don't they sleep on their feet?
I have no idea.
But then they got him up there in the stalls. I guess those stalls, those people put him in.
Yeah, who won?
I'm getting there. And so they got them all in there and got ready for the race. And the mayor of the town made this big speech, full of a bunch of crap, if you ask me. He just delaying things.
Where?
He got a speech about how wonderful his
Town.
What?
Town.
His reign had been in the town, how much it had grown, and how many grapes they had bred with potatoes, and all the people had tried to breed camels with horses, and what had become of it. And they even had some people trying to breed with sheep.
Oh.
I don't know what they were trying to breed with them, but I was scared to ask. But anyway, they went up there to start the race, and you had old Miss tried to pull the others off sides. And I thought, I didn't know that was in camel races, and the guy next to me said it was a new thing just that week. Well, I requested that they take that out until everybody knew about it. So they took it out, and the mayor gave it the starting pistol to his garbage department guy, and he couldn't find it because he must have thrown it in the garbage.
Uh-oh.
So they went looking for it, and it delayed us about 2 hours.
Oh, my.
They took 17 people out there into the garbage dump, and they found it. but nobody wanted to handle it. It was so nasty.
Oh, goodness.
So they got a stick, and they put it through the trigger guards, and one guy held it with his feet, and the other guy mashed it on the trigger with that stick. Well, it didn't go in the right angle, but the horses and the camels and all the half-breed things saw it, and they took off running toward it. Not even around the track, across the track. And I said, that is the dumbest way to do that I've ever seen. I would never have done it that way.
Of course
and I
not.
don't see how they're too stupid to do that. Those camels are running everywhere. And once you get them running, you can't stop them.
So, how did the race end?
I'm getting to that. They had another guy had a flare gun, but he didn't have a flare. So he managed to find that guy with the flare gun. And he got his flare gun from him. Only problem was, it wouldn't hardly fit. So the guy didn't want to get rid of his flare gun. So he had to trade his flare gun for a knife he had and give that guy his flare, and he fired it again.
Well, what does this have to do with the race?
Well, I'm getting there. And then he turned around and go fire the flare, and I said, wait a minute. I said, let me get there. So I got to it, and I said, you turn this way, and I'm going to hold your arms where it needs to be, because you don't know nothing about firing no flare gun. And I held it where it needed to be, and I fired it, and those camels stopped dead in their tracks, turned around, and started running at that flare.
Well, how about that?
They're like something I saw on TV, like it was like zombies or something.
Well, so who ended up running that way?
You don't reckon that breeding grapes with camels makes them sort of like zombies, do you?
I don't think you can breed grapes and camels together.
Well, what about grapes and camels and potatoes?
I don't think they're different.
Not even if you use apples?
I don't think so.
Well, I talk to them people that claim they do that.
You can't use.
They're getting my money.
Well, you can't use camels. You could do the potatoes and the apples and the grapes.
No, that won't work. That's fruity. That's be fruity. But
well, who won the race?
Well,
I got to get to sleep.
They come on down there on the track, and they were running and running and running, but then they kept looking for that flare. But there was a thunderstorm starting, and it was over here. Wait a minute, hold on. Get that fire out. That flare's not put out yet. Okay? What? Said it was a lightning struck over there.
Oh.
But anyway, lightning struck away from the flare gun. And them boogered potatoes, they turned on their eyes. You know, they got eyes in them.
Yes.
And they took off toward that lightning strike. And the camels didn't pay no attention to them. They just stopped and started spitting on the ground and making awful noises.
So did that stop the race?
But the grapes and the cucumbers, I tell you what, they had few cucumbers they were experimenting with just to grow a bigger cucumber.
Okay.
That the jockeys could ride. Well, the big cucumbers, they don't ever pay attention to the light and the sound. They just go when their handlers tell them to go. Trouble is, you have to have a handler at each track corner of the track, or they just keep going straight.
Oh.
So you have to have like a piece of lettuce or something to lead them around the corner.
Gotcha.
Well, anyway, the lettuce kept going. I'm sorry. They don't race. The cucumber kept going. If you've ever seen them roll, they just roll end to end to end.
Yeah.
And sometimes little stems left on them, they roll and use it as a rudder every time they roll over on that stem.
Okay.
And they can go in a kind of a side to side motion. It ain't straight, but but if they get enough lead, like when they fire a flare away, then they could win the race if they're the only ones coming up there.
So who won the race?
Now, I'm getting there.
I gotta go to sleep.
The longer cucumbers have a better chance. If it's just cucumbers racing, or if it's squash, they can stick. You know, then that's where the name came from. I think I read it somewhere that they were in races, but they raced pumpkins.
But who won the race?
And the squash got stepped on all the time, so they named them squash.
So who won the race?
It was a bunch of rutabagas and carrots. They teamed together to wait till the race was almost over, and they jumped in the road and crossed the finish line. Because by that time it had fallen where it was down real low, and one of the termites leaves knocked it down.
Well,
and they were trying to say that they were disqualified, and so they came around and got all the judges and the owners and the people, and that was one of them, me. And we watched the replay over and over. We checked the wind. They talked about the last time it rained.
Yeah.
All the stuff that's involved with racing camels bred with grapes.